Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, guys. Welcome back to See Results. So you're now joining myself, Ms. Naila, and Sir Ijaz for a creative writing session today. Right, so as he mentioned, we're not having the typical creative writing session, but it's going to be interesting, I promise you. Right, so welcome to all our viewers. I hope that you all are having a wonderful day thus far. As you know, this is the season finale, all right, so the last episode until further notice. So we are going to keep in touch, so don't worry. You can look for updates on our See Results page on Facebook, on our YouTube channel, and so on. We will be there for you, okay? So for creative writing this week, we decided to go with, for students to give submissions, rather, of messages of hope in light of, the pandemic that we are having right now, right? So I'm going to just read the topic to you, and then we're going to go ahead and share some of the submissions with our viewers, right? So
by the way, we had a lot of submissions from everybody. Thank you so much. It isn't possible for us to read everybody's submission, but we're going to do our best to read as much as possible within the time frame, all right?
Good. So the instructions were, you are free to write anything you wish to say to the nation of Trinidad and Tobago and the world in light of COVID-19 pandemic. Write something inspirational and beautiful. It can even be a poem if we prefer. Right, so you had, quite a number of options. However, you wish to present whatever you had to share with the public, with the nation, to inspire us all, to keep us going, to give some motivation, right, to bring some light to our hearts. Right, so let's read this first submission. So in light of the current COVID-19 pandemic, I felt compelled to say a few words. First and foremost, I know many of you are scared. I am too. I believe we all are. However, be encouraged because God is with you and He will help if you allow Him. Secondly, I want to encourage citizens to obey the instructions of the government to stay at home. I am aware that many of us are experiencing cabin fever, but we are not invincible. We are all vulnerable. Anyone can get this virus. Interaction with others increases your risk of infection. Therefore, it must not be taken for granted and obey our leaders. Finally, I must recognize the nurses and doctors of our nation. You guys are selfless heroes and must be celebrated. Your commitment to saving the lives of patients is remarkable. The fact that you leave your families to attend to the needs of others is truly a blessing to the public. To those who are not infected, rejoice. For many sick patients long to return to health. Right? Submitted by Diane Daniel. A very beautiful piece. What do you think, sir?
I totally agree with that. And we selected this piece to begin with before we get into the more poetic sort of submissions, because this one was very to the point, very succinct. It basically is echoing the sentiments that we've been hearing from our leaders. And we just wanted to see, what do our students think about this? Have they been internalizing it? How does it make them feel? All right, so we are off here to a great start, and that was very excellently done by Diane Daniel. All right, and I will be reading the next submission. So this one, I believe it's a poem. So let's take a read. So another day again, as I sit in my room, my stationary life is unfolding before me. I stare at the television with blank, blind eyes, awake, and yet I feel I'm in a deep slumber. What has happened to my beautiful world? Places which once put bright smiles on our faces now brings about so much doom and gloom. The invisible enemy is devouring our happiness. My heart bleeds to see so much agony and suffering. My people are dying. Our families are crying. Coronavirus, I wish you would go away. You came like a thief in the night and left a mark on everything you touched. You shattered my anticipation for SEA exam. My home has become my school. My friends I see no more. We all became strangers in the blink of an eye. I pray for you, O magnificent world, that soon you'll be cleansed and purified. Please wake up and fight. You are so overwhelmed with sorrow. Darkness haunts your soul. Although you are filled with pain and suffering, a glimmer of light and hope is peeking through. Rise from your ashes and fight. Frail and weak as we are, we have hope. We can stand together with love in our hearts. We are resilient and courageous. Little by little, day by day, one step at a time, we shall rise, we shall overcome. Keep the flame of hope bright and strong. Everything is going to be okay. We are going to get through this. because with love, this too shall pass. And this was submitted by Jaden Matson of Lowlands, Tobago. And what a beautiful, wonderful piece. What did you think about that, Ms. Naila?
You know, it's nice to see that students are thinking so in depth, you know, as to what is happening in our country and even worldwide, right? You know, so they are thinking, they are aware, and we do applaud you for, you know, being open-minded. And, you know, yes, sometimes you might think about it negatively, but some students, you know, and persons, of course, wish to motivate us, keep us going, right? We want to share something positive with the world, right? So good job, Jaden. So we do have another submission.
Well, as a matter of fact, Jaden Matson is much more than a poet. He is also a painter, all right? So if you want to see this image in better depth and quality, you can visit our Facebook page, See Results, or even our Instagram page, See Results, all right? And this here is a painting of the universe. We can see the universe personified here with these eyes and the mouth, telling the world, you know, holding the world gently and saying to it, get better soon, with the Band-Aid there on the planet. All right, so Jaden Matson, guys, he might be, you know, the next big artist out of Trinidad and Tobago. I won't doubt it, with such a great poetic mind as well as a artistic hand, all right? So just to note, you can send us anything, students, that you are doing at this point in time to stay home, to stay safe, to stay alive. All right, send it to cresultsibntv8@gmail.com, and we will post it on our Facebook page as well as the Instagram page. All right, we haven't really, you know, talked much about our Instagram page because we mainly just use it to, you know, run little reminders for our viewers who might be on Instagram more than Facebook to come to the program. But we're going to use this platform more now to share your works of art, your creative things, videos, paintings, drawings, anything that you want to submit, like Jaden Matson did, right? Even your writing, we're going to put some of them on some canvases digitally, and we will post them as well, all right? So we look forward to seeing more of that from you. So back to you, Ms. Naila.
All right, so we're going to go to this poem here, all right? So let's look at it. The corona disaster, man-made wrought. You can't escape its destructive path. It's worse than a tornado touching down, with its winds twirling all around, right? I'm just going to pause there for a second. You will notice that we did put a line through man-made, right? While this was part of the poem that the students submitted, we don't have sufficient evidence to suggest this, okay? So neither from the WHO or from CAFA, right? So we don't have enough information or evidence to support that, so hence the reason we just put a line through it, right? So let's continue with this. Contaminating everything that's in its way. Right now, as humans, praying to see a brighter day. Now it is the time for us to prepare. You see this coronavirus, it's not one to dare. Now no more humans shall fear, because thankfully I am here to tell you how to prepare. The first step is to stay away from others. Yes, even your warm, loving mothers. Step 2 is to eat the right foods, which includes beans, lettuce, and even prunes. Step 3 is to have proper hygiene, to make sure that you are always clean. Learn how to cough and sneeze. Come on, just do it, please. Last but not least, I have a step that is crucial indeed. This step is to have a relationship with God. Why, you might ask? Because He is Lord, and if you do it, I'm sure you will be cured. This is Island waving to you from Mount Thomas, Golden Lane, Tobago. Stay safe and stay motivated. Right, so excellent job, Island Balfour, and I do hope I am pronouncing that correctly, right?
All right.
So what do you think?
I believe it's Alian Balfour.
Alian.
Yet
Okay.
again, we have a submission from Tobago, the sister Isle, throwing out some real gems for us today on See Results. This is magnificently written. And yes, viewers, you might see a couple typos, you might see some minor spelling errors. This is not like an SEA submission today. We are just wanting the students to express themselves as raw as possible, all right? Whatever they're thinking, whatever they're feeling, all right? So don't begrudge them the minor errors that in spelling you might see here and there, all right? And it's good that they brought up that misconception about the virus being man-made, all right? Because these are things that are floating around, information out there, people, you know, gossiping, conspiracy theories, and so on, all right? So everything will come out today because we just want to know what the children are thinking. Every day we are seeing and we are hearing what the adults think and what the adults feel. These children, they are really going through something very tough right now. They can't see their friends. They're at home. They feel stuck. They feel suffocated a little bit. This is an outlet for them, and we are so happy to provide that. All right, so let's move on to the next submission. And just in that, vein or that trend of thought, this is an excerpt here. We also had a lot of essays. We're not going to read too many complete essays. We did have that address at the beginning. But Nikolai Raymond, who actually called us today, all right, in the mathematics segment, he says, as you go about your day, say, this is my land and I am taking a stand, all right? And what is that stand? The stand, of course, is for us to stay at home and to stay safe as well as to stay alive and, to send these positive messages to our essential workers and the people fighting on the front line, all right? So do you want to read this poem, Ms. Naila? Okay, I'll be reading this one. So you came in as a storm, taking away lives around the world with no mercy to return. You are not seen or heard, but you spread your disease deep down in our souls. People around the globe panic because you are in Rome. But after all, you bring joy to the people you have not destroyed. Parents who are tired but work non-stop can now relax and have a trend of thought. Children who struggle in their education can now buck up and reach for their top destination. Learn to cook, learn to bake. Just do something to keep your mind off this pandemic. Play with your family. Have fun, because COVID-19 can't spoil our recreation. So I came to tell you we can win this race if we stay home and be safe. All right, and this is from Brianna Bacchus, all the way in Point Fortin, and Brianna has been with us on Edmodo, perhaps from the very first week of C results. Thank you so much, Brianna, for being with us through thick and thin, all right? And we just have two thoughts that were shared from our essay submissions that relates very much to what Brianna is saying here. She's saying to appreciate the time that you might have home now with your family, with your parents, something that wasn't possible before, with the speed at which we live in this day, all right? So these are two very contrasting views from students about this right now. So Ms. Naila, would you read the first one?
Every morning I wake up to my mom being at home. It's a blessing, really. Most mornings I get up for school and she's already off to work.
All right, and this is by Angel Delancey. So this is one student here in her essay, intimating to us that she is very happy to be, despite everything that's going on, she is happy to be spending time with her mother, whom she otherwise would not see because when she gets up, her mom is already off to work, all right? So parents, appreciate the fact, appreciate this. Your children, they are very happy. Those of us who have to be home, they are happy to be with you, all right? So, let's spend quality time together with them. Let's really appreciate them. And children, do appreciate the time with your parents, as Angel is saying over here, all right? Because not every kid is so fortunate right now, as our second excerpt from our essay here says, all right? And this is from Kayla Robinson from QREP. Each day I watch my mother go out to work, not knowing what the outcome would bring, with fear in my heart, knowing that she is one that works in the hospital, where all the danger lies. Each day the number of positive keeps raising. All right, so Kayla, our heart goes out to you and your family and your mother who is working there on the front line. Kayla Robinson, whoever your mom is, we want to say hats off to you, congratulations, not congratulations, but we send our prayers and our support to you for the work that you are doing on the front line. And Kayla, we hope and we pray that your mom comes out on the other side of this, healthy and in good spirit and good sound of mind and so on, because it is very stressful, we imagine, for those health workers working on the front line. All right, so just imagine, parents, some of us have the opportunity, some of you parents have the opportunity to be with your children right now, and your children are loving that fact, while other children, they have to worry that their mom or their dad, aunt, uncle, grandparent, whoever, sibling is going out there to work in the health sector in particular, and all the other essential services who are interacting with the public at a very high level, okay? So let's be grateful for those of us who can be home with our families and spend time with them. So let's move on to our next submission. Ms. Naila, take it away. Sorry.
I'll just go to the next one.
All right.
Okay, great. We are here as one in this world, all in this pandemic, raging so bold, without being sympathetic to all the living souls. We are here in this isle called Trinbago, where we lime and sing calypso, now a panic zone, where chaos, confusion, and indiscipline roam. We are here, safely in our homes, doing our part, surrounded by the ones dear to our heart. Thankful that on these dark days, we are still here. Alex Pastel from Hoover. Right, so I'm thinking at this point, if poetry writing was the task for, SCA, a lot of students, of course, I know that you are also proficient in narrative and report writing, but I am saying that we have talented students, right, throughout our country, right, Trinidad and Tobago, and we are seeing it here, proof of their talent. So, if this was part of the SCA exam, I know you guys would also nail it, right? But for now, let's just work with narrative and report writing, right? And maybe we can do this out of the love for poetry or maybe as recreation, right? We did and do, in fact, enjoy all these poems and submissions that you all have written, right? And we really do appreciate it. And, we are taking it into consideration what each and every one of us is going through, whether you are taking it as a negative impact in your life or even if it's positive, just as our students have been saying, with regards to their families and so on, right? So come on, guys. We are in this together. We are going to be strong.
Right, and as Alex said, we are still here, all right? So many people are no longer with us all across the globe, all right? We've had a certain number of deaths in Trinidad with so many people that have been infected, and we are awaiting the recovery of some people who are there, serving their final stretch of quarantine and so on. And we pray and we ask the Almighty that He grants cure to all of those who are ill and comfort to those families who have lost their loved ones, all right, across the globe, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but everywhere where this virus has affected. Remember, this is a pandemic, so the whole world is reeling from the effects of COVID-19, all right, and we are loving these messages of inspiration from our students. We hope that you are also, enjoying it very much. All right, we are not going to move on to the next one because it's time for the Maghrib Adhan. And once we come back from the Maghrib Salah, we're going to continue with more readings. All right, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly. See you soon.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, guys. Welcome back to C Results. So you're joining us now for creative writing, and as you know, today creative writing is a bit different as we usually do, right? With narrative and report writing, we are doing some submissions, so messages of hope, right, in light of the pandemic right now. But before we go on, I just want to mention, for those of you, we may have new viewers today, and some of you who may not have, probably had a chance to watch the program for a long time. I just want to remind you guys that we have covered all, the content necessary for report writing and narrative writing, right? So we looked at those two types of or styles of writing very in depth, right? Because that is what we focus on for SCE in the past years. So we looked at that very closely, and there's a lot of information available for you. Don't forget, we have a YouTube channel, See Results, and all the content is there for you, right? So some of you still message and ask us, or tell us you are having difficulty with introduction or the body or anything like that. Just remember, the content is available for you. Just have to click off a button, you can rewatch that video, and it will be available for you, okay? So, so can we continue?
Of course.
All right, so we're going to jump back into the submissions. All right, looking at this one. Today, we stockpile empathy. We supply love and good energy. We sing to each across buildings. We say hello through social distancing. Do you know that writing letters to our friends is back in fashion? And that we finally have time to read more books, whether historical or fiction. Even in sickness, this world is allowed to be beautiful, and we are still allowed to love it. For there is always room for hope. This is just me checking in, sending you the moon as a poem, praying and wishing for all of us a speedy recovery. Right? So this was written by one of our constant contributors. Julia Benjamin, she has been with us for a very long time and has been constant with submitting, pieces for report and narrative writing. And she's in fact a great writer, as is also proven in terms of poetry. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, so what sticks out to me here is that, life, as she says, even in sickness, this world is allowed to be beautiful, all right? So we can't, guys, I know that it's very difficult. It's very difficult for all of us, to keep a positive mindset when you feel trapped at home, you feel like, the world is crumbling around you. When is this all going to end? We want to go back out again. You know how us Trinidadians and Tobagonians are. We want to be outside. We want to be at the beach. We want to be having fun. We want to be playing with our friends. Everyone wants to do that, all right? Nobody wants to feel the way that we are feeling right now. But despite it all, we are still allowed, life is still allowed to be beautiful. There are things that we can do to occupy ourselves. There are things that we can do to better ourselves. You might have books at home, access to the internet. There are so many things that you can learn online. Everything now is being done online. The world is forced to do things online now. Teachers who perhaps were very computer shy before are now teaching classes on Zoom and so on, all right? People that have never touched a pot before in their life are probably in the kitchen now trying to bubble a pot, all right? So, we have to embrace the good with the bad, all right? Still be able to find beauty in the situation that we are dealing with. And that is what Julia is trying to tell us here. We are still allowed to love life, and that there is still always room for hope. A very positive and powerful message, Julia. Thank you so much for that one. And let's move on now to another one of our pieces. All right, so this is another poem. And let's read. I cannot help but wonder what is in store for all of us with this dreadful coronavirus. Some still go outdoors, sometimes without a cause. We hear fake news and choose to listen to it, knowing fully well it wouldn't profit. The virus is spreading like wildfire. The death toll is only getting higher. Though surprisingly, some don't do the necessary, yet choose to blame the country. Look at even the earth is crying as so many are still dying. So come let us all do as they say. Stay home, stay safe, save lives by Achilles Glasgow of Dabadi. All right, so this one here is a very powerful message. Ms. Naila, what are your thoughts about it?
Right, so powerful, like you said, sir, when it talks about or touched on, we hear fake news and choose to listen to it. Now, this point here is really important, right? A lot of persons are having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, right? And you won't believe it, it's really true. Due to hearing fake news, we are constantly paranoid about going out or anything like that because sometimes of incorrect news. So just be very careful with what you read, right, and what you share on social media and so on.
Right, so the fake news, very important, and also the fact that some of us are still going outdoors without a cause. So it's two things happening here that the poet is lamenting, all right? Our young students, guys, Standard 4, Standard 5, we even have some people in Standard 3 now sending us in things, right? Look at the depth of their thought here right now. This is why we are so happy to be able to bring this to you today, all right? Going out when you're not supposed to, it's a no-no. Look, a child that hasn't even left primary school is wondering, what's wrong with you all? Why are you persisting in going out there? Why are you spreading fake news when, it's only going to be harmful? A lot of people, especially what we call the non-digital natives, the people that didn't grow up in the age of technology and instant communication and so on, those are the ones that are most susceptible, the older parents, the grandparents, and so on. When they see these things and it looks like it's from an official website, they may not be so tech savvy and they're going to get fooled instantly, all right? Of course, we have to work on that as a people. But, sharing fake news, you're just creating more panic, more anxiety. A lot of people locally have been doing that, creating all sorts of rumors and all sorts of unfounded information that is not helping, is not helpful, and is not only affecting the adults, guys, it is affecting our youth, all right? It is affecting our children who are able to see that. So we need to be mature and set the example for them, all right? Or maybe they are setting the example for us. So let's move on now to another poem. Thank you so much, Achilles. All right. So actually, we have a little excerpt here from one of our essays by Jessica Danasa. And she says that those who have lost their loved ones were not able to see them or prepare a proper funeral for them. So please, citizens, let's practice personal hygiene and not leave our homes to avoid from getting sick. All right, very, very powerful message here that it is impacting our youth, this young one. We are seeing all over the world where, in the bigger countries, the big cities, the New Yorks and the cities in Europe and so on that were hardest hit, all right? That people are just, bodies are just there, and stockpiled almost, for want of a better word, waiting to be buried and so on, and there's a limit on who can attend funeral services and so on. It's very grim, it's very scary, all right? And what will make it continue to be so is by people not practicing proper personal hygiene and insisting on leaving their homes without a proper reason, all right? Without needing to transact some essential thing, okay? So young Jessica Danasa is with a very powerful reflection there, all right? People are losing their loved ones and they can't see them off the way that they want to, and it is up to us to try and stop that from happening, all right, by us doing our part. All right. Go ahead, Ms. Naila.
Okay, so this one is from Nikolai. So I'm going to go ahead. May the Lord bless us with a beautiful day to let us run and play. From my house to yours, be safe and take care. Value not the things you have in life, but rather who you have. It's reality. Lockdown is here. I would like to tell my family and friends to be true and safe during this lockdown. And if you're wondering, I really care. Say a prayer for those who are close. Ask God to be next to them for the most. Ask the Almighty One to shower them with His love and grace. During this COVID pandemic we have here today, during the gloomiest of days, maybe thousands of kilometers away, we are bound together with love. So we stay a family till the end of our living days. Remember, you're alone. Think of your family and you will feel better. When you're alone, think of your family and you will feel better. Right? So that's a nice touch there, Nikolai. Karen Bokas. We did enjoy this, right? It's a powerful message once more. And the students also looking at it very closely, trying to tell you, get in touch with God, probably a spiritual person, right? Taking it from that end. Many of us might take that approach even, right? So it's anyhow that, any method that you prefer, how you choose to handle this pandemic at this time, right? So Nikolai, great job.
All right. Well done, Nikolai. I agree with you there, Miss. And of course, Nikolai, with his reminder there to think of your family, and that will make you feel better. Some of us, we can't see some of our loved ones, especially the older relatives. We have to try and be very careful with that and not to go around them, all right, because they might be more susceptible because of pre-existing conditions and so on. Okay, but remember, the same way that we are reaching out to you right now via the internet as well as the television, you can Skype, you can video call on WhatsApp or FaceTime or on Messenger. There are so many ways right now to keep in contact and to keep that bond with your family, all right? And of course, thinking of them is another way when you're not able to call them, as Nikolai said, and know that, God willing, there will come the day again when you will be able to visit with them, but just keep them in your heart and in your mind, and know also that, even a normal phone call can raise your spirits so much by hearing the persons that you care about who you're not able to be with at the point in time, all right? So very well said, Nikolai. And let's move on to our next piece. All right, so here we have a poem. Wash your hands 20 seconds, please, with soap and water frequently. Now, if you can't, then be the wiser. Use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Don't touch your face nor your eyes, not even if by chance you cry. Put that cough in your crooked elbow, and when you sneeze, do that also. If by chance a tissue you use, throw it away. Now here's your cue. To wash your hands, you must learn so that you will not spread your germs. When you're out, here's the new thing. Practice social distancing. Handbags, phones you use outside, when you reach home, sanitize. The government says, stay at home. Please obey. Don't go and roam. This corona thing is deadly indeed. It affects you, me, and the elderly. And those in quarantine, why can't you abide? You can infect others and they can die. Now here's a point, and don't get peeved, but if you're sick, stay home please. To all essential workers, take a bow. To you, our nation, soundly applaud. Now let's all say it loudly and with pride. Stay home, stay safe, and save lives by Rhea McNichols of Aruka. That one is fabulously written, Miss Naila, and it takes us through everything.
I was about to say that it sums it up really nicely for us, right? Everything that we want to say, how we are feeling, how we are looking at it. So Rhea, remarkable job, right? And, your poem is also rhyming so beautifully, right? That also, warms our heart, right? Each and every word that you said, we felt that, right? So, again, we are really enjoying the positivity, that you all are sharing with us. Again, once more, we are happy to be a part of this and to bring this to you, parents and students, of course.
Yeah, I mean, the quality of this is so exceptional, and, she's basically taking us through the steps of washing your hands, and if you can't be the wiser, use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Expert rhyming there, all right? I think that these words could be adapted into a jingle or something, and could be played on the air for people to hear, because it's so succinct and to the point, and everything is there, and it's very rhymey, very catchy, all right? So maybe somebody out there who just viewed this poem, you are good at singing or whatever, producing music, make a jingle with these lyrics, all right? I doubt Rhea would mind much, and you can share it with the world, because it's a very powerful message and it's very well said. All right, so well done to you, Rhea, from Aruka. So we have here another excerpt from a piece of writing from Jada Melville. All right, and Jada from Arima says, because of this virus, I finally found my dream, which is to help others who are sick and to give them happiness. All right, so yet again, we are seeing students here finding purpose in this suffering. Wow, who would imagine, right, that these young children will be coming up with these magnificent things? Well, we are teachers, so we are not so surprised, actually. Young children are very insightful, very intelligent, and they often see things in a way that we don't sometimes as adults. All right, so this person, despite all of this that's going on, is thinking to themselves, they're being inspired probably by our healthcare professionals, the frontliners who are putting their lives at risk, or even, all the other essential workers, the police and the military and everybody that's there working to keep our country going, all right? But this person found their dream, which is to help others who are sick and to give them happiness, all right? And there are many professions related to the medical discipline and so on that would do that. So, kudos to you, Jada, for finding your dream in this particular very trying circumstance. All right, so here we have a very, very, very interesting piece of writing here. All right, something that it's amazing what this child thinks of in this particular situation that we are faced with. So I exhaled dreamily. The light breeze shook my tender branches. Leaves rustled as multicolored birds perched upon my outstretched brown arms. The great sparkling ball spilled a heavenly glow onto the earth's surface. Clouds sailed by in the never-ending azure sea. Did you guess what I am? Yes, I am a huge banyan tree. Those enjoyable, peaceful days brought ecstasy to my nature friends. Now all the humans in the world have been forced to isolate themselves due to the horrid COVID-19 virus. Unfortunately, this is a time of severe crisis, but nature's animals are finally free to run around and enjoy themselves without having to fear humans and their weapons. Still, I remember the utterly dismal times. Factories produced harmful emissions as far as the eyes could see. Powerful lumberjacks chopped down trees one by one. Hunters heartlessly slaughtered animals for their meat. More litter than water in the streams ran by. Those were horrific times. Now I feel nothing but freedom and pleasure. The crystal clear waters flowed in rivers and streams where different fish merrily swam along. So tranquil, you can even hear the sounds. Gurgle, gurgle. Toads and frogs on lily pads croaked with joy. Cotton ball bunnies hopped by without fear. My fellow trees stood tall and proud at my side, not to mention the sweet aroma of fresh flowers, roses, daisies, buttercups, bluebells, and more. Seas of bright red, white, yellow, and blue swayed energetically to the beat of the wind. At night time, no more car horns honked or lights flashed, just the twinkle of a million stars against the night sky. The shimmering moon spilled its silvery carpet onto the earth. Being a tall, leafy giant, I could see the ocean and the peaks of high mountains. This new life would be the best. Despite this luxury, I still feel sorry for sick and dying humans, family members dead or dangerously ill. Their hearts are broken. I think when this dark time has lifted, people should have a balance to ensure that the nature around them is happy and to pay more respect to us and our lifestyle. Still, if I could talk, I would say, stay positive and never give up hope. The best is yet to come, by Karima Ramsahai. What do you think about that, viewers? What do you think about that, Ms. Naila?
Exceptional, right? Karima, took a different spin on this. Now, I'm not so surprised because we did see some messages going about, like, for example, with the Emperor Valley Zoo and some of the animals, being overwhelmed that they did not have any visitors and some of the stories behind it, right? And they were saying that, the animals were happy. Now, I don't want to give exact details because I may be, a little bit wrong with those details, but I know the Emperor Valley Zoo did share a bit of information concerning the turtles and so on, right? So maybe we can look into that and share a little bit more information on that, right? But it's keeping with this and saying that, it's a way of cleansing the earth, right? For the animals to be free, right? To take away from pollution and all that's happening and some of the things that we have been suffering from, right? As a people. What do you think, sir?
Yes, I mean, this is basically taking the entire thing away from the human-centric view of it, all right? What is the earth experiencing right now that we humans have to stay indoors, all right? A lot of relief to wildlife and to fauna, to flora, all right? And, some of the things that you see online would be exaggerated. Some of it might be doctored, but no doubt some of it is authentic, all right? And we know that we're creating less greenhouse gases and so on if cars are at home parked, all right? Less pollution, all right? Less people out on the streets to litter. People can't go out and overhunt and overkill there, as you see with the animals and so on. So breathing a sigh of relief that they are not being hunted, perpetually. All right, so this is very powerful stuff, and this is narrative writing. All right, so imagine writing this for SEA. All right, if a topic like that, something along those lines were to come, I think this would have knocked it out of the park.
Definitely hitting each and every criteria there.
Yeah, those cotton ball bunnies and the flowers and the imagery and so much. It makes you want to go back out into nature. Even though nature is telling us, well, you all could take a little break for a while more, all right? We are a bit fed up of you humans and your behavior. So hopefully, when we go back out there, when things resume, and we see the pristine nature as it has healed itself in the time that we are away, we can heed this call and, and feel more appreciative of nature, feel more at one with nature and not destroy it and not misuse and abuse it. And a standard 4 or 5, I'm not sure what class Karima Ramsahai is in, is telling us that in the most epic language possible, all right? Wonderful stuff, Karima. And to you and your parents, guardians, fantastic, fantastic job. We love this piece of writing.
All right, do you want to go to our next submission?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Okay, so this one was written by Jonathan Sinelan, right? Very popular with Edmodo and, of course, with C Results right here. He's from San Fernando. Us humans were supposed to love the earth. Acronym: E for environment, A for animal, R for river, T for trees, H for humans. Embrace our beloved earth. Humans alone does not own the world, as leaders have claimed in their expressions. We were supposed to live in unity and share our resources. Care for each other, love and respect each and every one, and embrace all living creatures. because we are all God's creation. Right, so Jonathan, right, another way here we are seeing creativity again, right? He took the approach of using an acronym, expanding on that, right, giving us a little bit of what he is thinking, right? And I do appreciate it, and I am right there with you, Jonathan. Excellent job.
Yeah, so like Karima, he is taking the approach of looking at it holistically, not just the impact that humans are facing, but the fact that we are supposed to love the earth, right? Not just our own species, but the environment, the animals, rivers, trees, and our fellow humans, all right? And that we are all creatures, we are all God's creation, and we should be looking out for each other. We should be taking care of each other, all right? So this is another slant from that perspective, which was just shared by Karima. So it's along those lines. And thank you, Jonathan. And thank you, Jonathan, for being, an ever-present person on our Edmodo class, for somebody that's been, trying very hard week in, week out. Jonathan has provided us with some very entertaining writing in the creative writing segment. Yes, right. Very quality work, and as well managed to, do well in the ELA and the mathematics as well. So you and your family, they are doing a wonderful job with you, Jonathan, and all of our students, they are so eager. You all will not believe how eager these students are to get their work here on the screen. All right, can you imagine if all classrooms were like this? All right, because they know that people are looking out there, people are listening and viewing. They're so eager. All right, so maybe us as teachers should find a way to highlight the work that our students do, because they are putting in all of this effort and this work, and it's not always just about the red ink for them, right? And the score, they want to know, they want their work to feel appreciated, and we are so grateful to be able to do that on this program, all right? We don't just give a mark and that's the end of it. People are going to hear what you did, and even if it's not always 100%, we help you, we try to give you advice on improving it and so on. So all of you out there, keep it up. Like we said, we are not going anywhere. We are going to be with you on the Edmodo page until you write that exam, whenever it is, all right? So you can reach out to us, and let's continue here now and see what more we have. We are probably approaching the end of what we've prepared, but we're going to keep reading until we get there, right? So things are hard at this time in TNT, and millions are suffering globally. COVID-19 shook up the world like an earthquake, tumbling giant economies, causing a lot of ache. Symptoms are difficulty breathing, dry cough, and fever. Even worse if you are elderly, have diabetes or asthma. Act like everyone has COVID-19 to lower the cases. Stay 6 feet apart in all public places. Hide yourself in your homes for a little while until this dreadful disease has passed by. Most businesses closed, but essentials open still. Groceries and pharmacies were being filled. When this is over, we may never again take for granted a warm hug and kiss that felt so enchanted. A crowded theater on a Friday night, Easter weekend at the Savannah with our kites, memorable visits from our relatives overseas, and travel to various destinations if we please. Stay home, stay safe, save lives. To make sure your loved one survives. We can cook, read, or play in the meantime. Remember to pray for those sacrificing on the front line. We can make it through if we work together. This pandemic won't be here forever, by Kaylin Charles of Dabadi. Magnificent. What do you think about this one, Ms. Naila?
Yes, Kaylin, right? You are absolutely correct. It will not be here forever, right? But these are certainly words of inspiration and, words that we should live by. Of course, they are all facts telling us, how we can stay or how we can social distance and so on, right? So, we are all, aware of what's happening and what's taking place, and, we are all trying to cope with it. And Kaylin, you have, really helped us, up a level, get us thinking about what's happening and, how you are taking this personally, or maybe your family, and whatever inspiration you are taking this from. So, Kaylin, excellent work.
Yes, so again, a very, comprehensive piece of writing here, okay? Telling us all about the impact of the disease, right? Tumbling giant economies, all right? We have here a young student recognizing the impact of this disease on the economies of nations.
And able to understand, how this is going to affect us, worldwide, not just, restraining to a country.
Exactly. And it also edifies us. It tells us about the difficulties, the symptoms, and who is more at risk: elderly people, people with pre-existing conditions, diabetes and asthma. It gives us advice to act like everyone has COVID-19, including yourself, all right? To lower the cases, stay 6 feet apart in all public places. Hide yourself in your homes for a little while. So social distancing and social isolation here in this particular stanza until this disease has passed by, right? Most businesses close, but essentials open still. And the end, in the final paragraph, we learn here, we are told by this young writer, no, this isn't even the final paragraph, that when all this is over, we shouldn't take for granted those things that mean so much more than anything else material, all right? The hug and the kiss from your granny, from whoever you're not able to see, just being able to be on the savannah for Easter, flying your kite. This is Easter weekend coming up here, and all of us, whatever traditions you may have will have to be affected for this particular year, all right? And then, our relatives can't visit because the borders are closed, all right? In beautiful poetry, this young person is telling us all of this, right? And then we would be able to travel again once the borders reopen. But in order for that to happen, we have to stay home, stay safe, and make sure that we survive this pandemic, and also offering some things that we can do while we are at home, all right? So, Kaylin, remarkable, remarkable work. And as Ms. Naila said, they should probably start student writing poetry and essay as a feature in the exam, just based off the evidence that we have here today.
So if Kaylin is probably 11 or 12 years old, I know this person is able to tell us this, right? Then we as adults, those of us who aren't listening, we should be able, we should actually reflect on our actions, right? Take heed, take advice. Look at what these youngsters are saying. Look at the manner in which, they're expressing themselves, right? So you can even learn from this, right? These children are definitely having an impact from this, right? So it's also a great learning point, a lesson for all of us. And do we have a final piece?
All right. So we have an excerpt here from Naila Shah's writing. And this is in line with, all of the poems that we've read so far. This, although this one is not a poem, this virus is here to remind us of how short life can be and what is important to us. It highlights essentials such as food, water, and medicine, as opposed to the luxuries that people sometimes unnecessarily give too much value. This is a young standard 4 or 5 student telling us about what is truly important in life, right? Our true work is not the job that we perform, but is what we can do to protect others and ourselves from the spread of COVID-19 at this time, right? The power of free will is in our hands. We can help the hungry, elderly, and sick by sharing and supporting and not being egocentric. At times like these, when we have to look after each other as a nation, by Naila Shah. Amazing, right? Very well put. Brings it all into perspective. Everything that we've read so far, it basically leads to this, all right? Valuing what is really important. What do you have to say, Ms. Naila?
Giving a great touch, giving us some insight into humanity, right? Some of the qualities we should be reflecting upon in ourselves, or even bringing out at this point in time. Right, so let's take this opportunity to help our neighbors, help our friends, but remember there are things that we must do also to protect our loved ones, right? So let's practice all of that, but still be mindful of your neighbor, or be your neighbor's keeper as well.
All right, so that brings us to the end of your submissions. We thank you so much for all of the pieces that you sent in. Of course, we tried to tailor it so that we'll be able to read what we have in the time allotted, all right? And there are so much more submissions that we have, and we will be sharing some of those on our social media in the future. And we remind you again, you can send anything you want to us. This part of it is open now. The photos, the artwork, the videos, whatever you've done, we've already received some that we're going to be releasing very soon, all right, from the likes of Kaylee Spencer, Reagan Fritz, I believe Rhea McNichols, Sydney Slater. We got a whole bunch of artwork and videos and so on that we'll be sharing. And again, you can find that on our Facebook page, C Results, as well as on our Instagram page at C Results IBN TV8. All right, you can email us, seeresultsibntv8@gmail.com. And of course, you stay connected with us on Edmodo, where we'll be continuing to put out our quizzes. If you have not joined our Edmodo class so far, that is the class code there on your screen right now, 6KJQ3Y. All of our previous videos are available on our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page. So you subscribe to those, like those, and just make use of the 54 episodes of content. That IBN TV and our sponsors and the crew here, and we have come together to prepare for you, the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. And we very much look forward to the next season when we'll be working with you. And we wish all of you continued success and success in the SCA exam whenever it does come around. All right, and we wish the nation, all the best in this trying time, that we would come out of it stronger and better and more united as a people. All right, and I'm going to let Miss Naila leave you with some final words right now.
Okay, guys, so if you enjoyed these messages of hope, as much as Sir and I did, right, feel free to share this, especially if you're looking at us on the live stream. This can be your way of making somebody smile, bringing a little light to their home, right? Someone is going through a little anxiety, depression, share these poems and excerpts and stories with them, right? Of course, it's going to bring a warmth to all of our hearts. I just want to thank all the students, right, our supporters from day one, starting last year, right, on the Edmodo class as well. Those of you who constantly call us on the program, you guys are the ones who make it very interesting, right? And without you, we cannot do it. And we are so, grateful for this opportunity, for the students participating, for the parents, of course, who took the initiative, to get their students to sit every day and become interested in the program, right? So continue doing great work. We will be there with you, just as Sir said, on the Edmodo app, trying our best to support you. We want you to be safe. We want your families to be safe. Take care of yourselves, right? Do something positive in this time. Probably take up a trade, maybe, right? And let's see what we can do as a people to come out bigger and better in the end.
Right, and as always, remember to see results with See Results. I have been Sir Ijaz.
And I'm Miss Naila.
Good evening. Assalamu alaikum.